To the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the record, this is a public meeting of the Bayonne Board of Education. It is 7:11 p.m., the 30th day of August. We're convening in the Anna J. Herbert Meeting Room. The presiding officers, Maria Volato, President of the Bayonne Board of Education. Those in attendance include Mr. John J. Neese, our Mr. John J. Neese, our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Kenneth Kopaz, our Assistant Superintendent for Personnel, Ms. Jennifer Vecchiarelli, our Assistant Superintendent for Special Services, Dr. Gary Mader, our Board Secretary, Mr. Daniel Castles, our School Business Administrator, Mr. Thomas Fagu Jr., our Assistant School Business Administrator, Dr. Dennis Degnan, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction. The meeting's open to the public. I'll take a roll call. Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Casillas?
Here.
Trustee Egan?
Here.
Trustee Godesky Rodriguez?
Here.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Here.
Trustee Sclafane?
Here.
Trustee Wilbeck?
Here.
Vice President Munoz?
Here.
President Volato?
Here. For the record, adequate written advance notice of at least 48 hours giving time, date, and location of this meeting was provided as follows. Notice was promptly posted in City Hall at 630 Avenue C on the bulletin board reserved for such announcements of the Board of Education. The Board Secretary sent such notice to the Jersey Journal and Bayonne Community News. Notice was filed with the Municipal Clerk of the City of Bayonne, Ms. Medina.
Thank you. First up is our approval of minutes and acceptance of communications. But before I move that, I have a question from Mr. Woods in regards to resignations.
Good evening, everyone. Not necessarily so much a question, just a statement out there. I was able to, when I got the agenda today at 2 o'clock to 11, I didn't see it until a little bit afterwards, though, that there are 16 resignations on there. We've spoken about this before, Superintendent and I, but the district has to be really concerned and aware of what's happening with people leaving. We've had this conversation for the last several years about the profession just in general, but it is a little worrying, not only education part for our students, but also for the district, because now it's the last minute try to find new hires to bring in, which is probably going to cause some issues at the start of the school year, especially when it comes to special services, because a lot of the people who left tended to be from special services. A couple, spread out over some other subjects, but special services, it seemed to be a lot of people have left those positions. And, again, I know it's an issue, statewide, countrywide, but I hope we can get something together to continue to retain our teachers and not make this a revolving door. We did it for a couple of years where people stayed, but our district has been in the past essentially the minor leagues. It's been put out there that people come here, do their AAA ball, and then they leave and go somewhere else. And I don't want that to happen. Personally as an educator in a district, but also as somebody who's a taxpayer in town. I want to keep the best people here, as I know all of you do, so I really hope that we could figure something out to retain those people.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion for minutes?
I'll
and
move.
Communications. Motion by President Volato.
I'll second.
And a second by Vice President Munoz. On that motion and second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Casillas?
Yes.
Trustee Egan?
Yes.
Trustee Godesky Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Sclafane?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck?
Yes.
Vice President Munoz?
Yes.
And President Volato.
Yes.
Next up is our curriculum resolutions, which are A1 to A15. Resolution A14 is being tabled. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Trustee Wilbeck and a second. Second from trustee Sclafane. Before I take a vote, Mr. Woods, you have a question on regards to A2, September as Attendance Awareness Month?
Yes. If anybody gets up here today, be careful. The podium's broke in the front. It's leaning. So nobody want anybody to get hurt. So when I was able to look at it today, going through the attendance awareness piece, it's definitely a great idea. My concern looking at this is to take a look, I think, at the impact, because in there it talks about students wanting to come to school because of a great learning environment. And I'm wondering what the numbers are, if anybody could eventually get to that. And I'm asking this because, like I said, I got the agenda later in the day today, and it's hard to go through 125 pages of this stuff to kind of game plan for everything. But when you're looking at students coming to school, most of the time they're coming in because of the educator in the room. And one of the things that worries me in the district, and it's been brought up several times, and I don't think it's going to be any better this year with the sub issue, when special ed teachers, inclusion teachers are being pulled to sub for another class and they can't service their own students. I'm wondering if that has had any impact in the district on students who are in inclusion classes or special needs classes on their attendance coming into school. So I don't know if, some type of study could be done on that. I just think that's important to take a look, especially if we really want to make sure we have a really great attendance policy, having the students coming through the door every day. That was one of the concerns that I saw on there. I thought maybe that could be part of an issue of students coming into school if they do not have their services every day. I don't know if is that something that can be done, that where we can cross-reference those numbers? Is that possible?
Yes.
I just think, again, it would really help to try to, again, alleviate issues in the district, but also help out the students when it comes to that as well.
While you're up there, you
Yep.
also had a question in regards to A5, which is our curriculum unit
Yes.
plan.
So Superintendent Neese and I and Dr. Degnan have talked about this several times, and we're trying to work this out. But I just would like to bring this up because it's an area of redundancy on the minds and thoughts of a lot of our educators in the district. We have a weekly lesson plan piece that we have to do. We have to turn in lesson plans on a Thursday for the following week. So while you're still teaching and fixing what's going on in the classroom Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, by Thursday you have to have your lesson plans in for the following week. Now we also have unit plans. So when I've spoken to many of our members, they've asked, why the redundancy? Why do we have to post both unit plans and lesson plans when the unit plans are pretty detailed? I mean, when we first came into the district early on, there were like 1 or 2 pages, but now, I worked on the curriculum this summer and with several other colleagues, and I mean, it's pretty extensive. So if there's, again, kind of talking about figuring this stuff out, what can be done about that, or why is it like we're approving unit plans, but then the lesson plan thing is still happening? So I don't know if anybody can answer that as to why.
Assistant Superintendent Degnan?
This was a recommendation from the county superintendent in our last CUSAC. The reason behind it was that we used to have Sunday to Monday. They said, well, who would be monitoring? So the idea was now we're on our initiative Friday, Saturday, and weekend to monitor the lesson plan. So there was a recommendation from the county last CUSAC.
So then why the unit plans then? Why unit plans and lesson plans? That's what people are asking, and we're trying to figure out.
Unit plans, we just requested a lesson plan template.
But why then are unit plans being done?
I'm not sure what to do. We have to send out a lesson plan template. It says
It says on here approved, though, for it said A5, that unit plans, right here, it says, "This Board of Education approved the attached curriculum/unit plans written in the academic year 2021, 2022, 2022, 2020." Yeah, but they're unit plans, though. And people have to attach them to their lesson plans. No, it's not about the attach, so I don't, again, we're trying to help alleviate some stuff, so the questions that people are asking me is why unit plans and why daily lesson plans? That's what we're trying to figure out.
I just know a lesson plan. If somebody's doing something different, send that to the director, let me know. There's a lesson plan template that I'm aware of. It says students will be able to, the homework is included, it's an on-course. Unit plans is something that's part of the curriculum. So I'll give you an example.
Is there a difference between a unit plan and a daily lesson plan? What's the difference?
Unit plans are the units that are for the whole year without the numerous pages at the bottom.
And in each one of them, because I wrote the curriculum this summer, each one of them, you have to have specific learning objectives listed there. You also have to have the activities that you're going to be doing throughout that unit. So that's why people are asking that question now.
So would the lesson plan be, like, what is it from the unit plan that the teacher is teaching this specific day? So you could take that you wrote in the unit plan, and then as a teacher, I say, I'm teaching this from the unit plan on Monday, this from the unit plan on Tuesday, and I write it out in my lesson plan.
I've never heard this from any teachers, I've never heard this from any directors. I send out a lesson plan template, and students will be able to, it's very clearly pointed out. If there's redundancy, please let me know, I'll look at it, maybe show me where this is happening, I'll read look at it, but it says, put your homework, put your standard, put your learning activity, put your modification.
Did you see the new unit plans that people had to do, that people were paid to do?
Well, that's the curriculum document, aligned with New Jersey's learning center. Those are curriculum documents, that's not a deal.
Yeah,
Right. So, and what he's saying is that you take from
Yeah,
that
so-
curriculum unit plan.
Correct.
And you put it into the lesson plan.
Correct.
Of what you are teaching each day.
because when I started here, we did just unit plans, and then it's shifted over to daily lesson plans, and then the unit plans kind of went away, but we've come back to them again. So again, it's just about clarity, especially as we're getting ready to start a new full school year,
So,
as opposed
Mr.
to the
Woods, can I
last
make-
two.
can
So
I-
that's,
I have a lesson plan template, I share with the directors,
Yeah.
I share with the principals every year, I'll share with you again.
no, I don't think, okay,
Mr. Woods, may I make a suggestion?
I don't think that's,
Could you give Dr. Degnan your example of a unit plan you're being asked to do, and then have him?
sure,
Because
so.
if it's specific
yes.
directors that are asking for
No,
this.
so they're not asking the teachers to write the unit plan, because somebody is hired in the department to write the plan, and then that plan goes up for all the educators to have access to. So that is the overall scope and sequence for that particular unit. So my question is, would that be sufficient enough for a teacher to post unit plan, this is the unit I'm covering, and have that listed in there? Because people are asking me about it, so.
Well, the unit plan is sort of like the curriculum, like the
Correct.
the guide. So
Correct.
then from there, the teacher has to, so I get a unit plan, I
Correct.
look at it.
Okay.
If I just say I'm
Yeah.
following Unit 3, but then the administrator can come in and question,
Correct.
what part of Unit 3 are you doing on Monday?
Oh, yes, yes.
So that's like what the lesson plan is. So you could actually, if it's digital, copy it from
Yeah.
there onto your
I'm
lesson plan.
just- no, I
and
get-
just
I'm
put
trying
it,
to make-
right? I just want to make sure that's
No,
what it is.
I'm trying to get this
Okay.
simplified so that, again, it makes things a little bit easier, especially now as we're coming back full on in. So that was why I was asking that question, because people were asking me about it, and I just wanted to clarify. Yep. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no director. Yeah. Correct. I've coached, I know that, but, so my thing is that directors aren't telling their teachers, like, you have to write a unit plan because the unit plan's already been written.
Right.
And that's what people were asking, like, if we have the unit plan, can't we just post that there? And I said, I have to find out, I gotta ask. So, okay, thank you.
So we have a motion by trustee Wilbeck and a second by trustee Sclafane. On that motion and second, trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Egan?
Yes.
Trustee Gadesky Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Scafane?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck?
Yes.
Vice President Munoz?
Yes.
President Bellato?
Yes.
Next up is our Finance, Building, and Grounds Resolution B1 up into including B33. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Trustee Egan and a second
I'll second.
by Vice President Munoz. But before I take that vote, we have a question on B30 from Mr. Woods. I didn't tell you to sit
Again,
down.
going back to, taking some time to get, and I appreciate giving me some extra time in the beginning to go through the agenda. And like Dr. Degnan said about, planning for a game, when I think about trying to get ready for every board meeting, I like to have the stuff the day before because it does help me alleviate getting up here and having to ask all these questions when I could just kind of ask them on the side. It's like football. You game plan for a whole week. You don't get the, opposing team's defense the day before the game or, just minutes before. So I'm really trying to alleviate some of this. But B30, I was just at Mr. Castles. I was not sure what we were leasing. Is that computers?
They're computers.
Those are the Chromebooks or our stuff?
No, so, they're the desktop for,
I was working on
Okay.
resolution.
I didn't know what it was, and I just saw master lease, and I was like, well, I gotta ask.
I gave them
Yes, the Apple
as
Macs. Yeah.
soon as I could get it.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Castles.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Trustee Egan and a second by Vice President Munoz. On that motion and second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Egan?
yes.
Trustee Gadesky Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Scafane?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck?
Yes.
Vice President Munoz?
Yes.
And President Bellato.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is our Personnel Resolution C1 up into including C35. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that move.
Motion by Trustee Cassius and a second.
I'll second.
By President Bellato. But before I take the vote, Mr. Woods, there you are, C10, I believe it?
Yes. It's not about the whole C10. It's just, I have a question, and I like to go through things very finely, right, and read through them. And I don't ever recall seeing Municipal Alliance District Coordinator, and I don't know what that is. And I asked a couple of people, of my members here, and they don't know what it is either, so I don't know. I'm curious. Okay, do you know when it started?
3 years ago.
Okay. So, okay, so I guess the people are hired then to write the grants? Okay, because it says Municipal Alliance District Coordinator, so, okay, all right. I just said that, I was not sure, I don't recall ever seeing that one in particular, so I needed to ask. So, thank you.
So we have a motion by Trustee Cassius, second by President Bellato. Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Egan?
Yes.
Trustee Gadesky Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Scafane? Trustee Wilbeck?
Yes.
Vice President Munoz?
Yes.
President Bellato?
Yes.
Let's just make sure I don't skip anybody here. Okay. We have two additions. They're both on non-consent. I'll read them into the record. Resolution D1, whereas the Board of Education conducted a hearing as to the administration's harassment, intimidation, and bullying investigation determined related to student ID number 836927. Whereas said hearing was requested by the parent of the student for the purposes of appealing the determination of administration, whereas the Board of Education considered all relevant facts and arguments made by the parent of the student and school administration, whereas the Board of Education considered definition of HIB pursuant to NJSA 18A 37-13. Be it resolved that the Board of Education concurs with the conclusions of administration, directs the board attorney to provide the requisite notice to the parents of the student as required pursuant to New Jersey's Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act. And that was moved by President Bellato and seconded by Trustee Cassius. So we have a move and a second. Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius?
No.
Trustee Egan?
Yes.
Trustee Godesky Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Sclafane?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck?
Yes.
Vice President Munoz?
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Go ahead.
Right, so voting yes is to overturn it?
No, to uphold.
To uphold it.
Uphold, and voting no is to not uphold?
Yes.
Did
Okay,
I renege my vote?
okay, I apologize, so.
No,
Trustees, if voting yes is that we uphold what was brought to us,
Yes.
voting no is that we do not agree with what was brought to us.
Okay, mine, sorry for mine's no then.
How about, well, let me go
Let's
back
go
then.
again.
How about we start from the beginning? Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius
No.
is a no. Trustee Egan
Yes.
is a yes. Trustee Godesky Rodriguez
Yes.
is a yes. Trustee Gonzalez
No.
is a no. Trustee Sclafane
No.
is a no. Trustee Wilbeck
Yes.
is a yes. Vice President Munoz?
No.
And President Bellato?
Yes.
It passes. Okay, D2. Whereas the Board of Education conducted a hearing as to the administration's harassment, intimidation, and bullying investigation related to student 937727. Whereas said hearing was requested by the parent for purposes of appealing the determination of administration. Whereas the Board of Education considered all relevant facts and arguments made by the parent and school administration. Whereas the Board of Education considered the definition of HIB pursuant to NJSA 18A 37-13. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education concurs with the conclusion of administration and directs the board attorney to provide the requisite notice for the parent of required pursuant to the New Jersey Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights. It was moved by President Bellato, and it was seconded by Trustee Cassius. So on that move and second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius.
Yes.
Trustee Egan.
Yes.
Trustee Godesky Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
No.
Trustee Sclafane.
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Yes. Trustee Wilbeck
Yes.
is a yes. Vice President Munoz
No.
is a no. President Bellato
Yes.
is a yes. Okay. President Bellato, that concludes our business, but we do have a few cards for questions. How about we'll call up Mr. Charlie Muse, 165 West 20th Street. And I remind our speakers, our regular speakers, that there is a 3-minute limit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
That
emailed
was
some
the
of this
email you
information
guys
to
got
most of
today.
you earlier today, but I wanted to bring up my situation with my wife, Ann Margaret Muse, who's an aide at Bailey School. On April 25th, she was accused of manhandling.
Sir, excuse me.
Just make a statement first before you begin getting into a personnel matter, that getting into details about personnel determinations is really, this is not the appropriate forum, because the board and the administration are not permitted to discuss any information regarding personnel decisions that are made. And allegations that could be made are not permitted to be rebutted, and so I'm just telling you that.
Okay.
If you want to make a general statement, fine, but to get into details, it's not the appropriate forum.
No, it was specific, thanks.
Okay.
Sir, you emailed us today? Sir,
He-
you emailed us today? Yeah. Okay. I'll check and I will call you tomorrow.
Superintendent, it was emailed to all the trustees. Next up is Naomi Vader, 119 West 14th Street.
just wanted to know, I'm a new parent coming into the Board of Ed, to the school, and my daughter hasn't been placed yet. She receives IEP, and they said that the case study team needs to, the case study team, they need to. Okay. This is my first year going into the school system here, and my daughter, she receives IEP. And we were told that she will not be able to probably start school until after the first week because the case study team needs to review all the studies. So I was just wondering, is that something that normally happens? Because now she has anxiety that she won't.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she's got it.
Hi.
I will get your information and contact you first thing in the morning. I just, without, we don't go into specifics, but I will make sure that I explain in detail exactly, all the information you need. Okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is the union president for the Bayonne Paraprofessionals, Alexander Segura.
Good evening, board members and central office. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedules to hear what I have to say pertaining Bayonne paraprofessionals. My name is Ender Alexander Segura. I am the union elected president for the Bayonne paraprofessionals, and I speak on behalf of my members. Last school year, I rose from being secretary of the union to the president because unfortunately, our former president, Corey Kettleman, stepped down, and I had no other choice but to become president. It's a title that I wasn't going for, but someone had to be the voice of our members. I come to you this evening to present the issue that our Bayonne paraprofessionals are going through. Since we came to an agreement on this 2020 till 2024 contract, it was agreed and signed by both parties that any members, even non-members, are eligible if they meet the requirements to qualify for the waiver payout by showing proof of private insurance and also working over 30 hours a week. They would then qualify for the $2,500 insurance waiver payout. Over 100 paraprofessionals out of over 330 members qualified for this waiver. It was stated in the contract that half of that waiver payment was going to be paid on December and the other half in June. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. On June 15th, my cabinet and I, which includes Mr. Charles Miles, acting VP, Ms. Emilia Molesky, acting treasurer, and our union server, Kevin McHale, had a meeting with Superintendent Mr. John Neese, Business Administrator Mr. Daniel Castles, Assistant Superintendent of Special Services Ms. Jennifer Vaccarelli, and other school administrators to discuss how we can solve this situation without proceeding with the grievance we presented them. We were then reassured that this situation could be easily resolved by July or August the latest. We, as a collective group, came to an agreement to hold off the grievance in order to give time to fix the waiver situation. Since June 15th meeting, we haven't heard any response on the matter. Today, the 30th, marks the last payday for August, and unfortunately, we didn't receive any payments to those who qualified for the waiver. I'm asking the board members and central office what is being done to resolve this matter. Thank you for your time.
Hello, thank you for bringing this to my attention. So we had multiple conversations back and forth regarding this issue. There are two separate issues here, so it's not clear-cut as to what the health benefit waiver payment is to a majority of the board members. What we need to do is sit down this week, before the end of the week, with Mr. McHale and all your representatives and come to a resolution and affirm exactly the dates that we're going to have all these things lined up, because some of the issues aren't as clear-cut.
So I'll be waiting for that date for the meeting then.
Sure, I'll contact you tomorrow. We'll
Exactly.
reach out to Mr. McHale and we'll get a date.
All right, so that's all I needed to say. Thank you
Thank
for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our last question is Mr. Ahmad Bowles, 175 West 22nd Street.
Good evening. Just I have a question, and this question comes from the whole community of Bayonne. Okay, you hear me? Okay. I have a question, and I think this question is very essential to everybody in Bayonne. Everybody was saying, why is talking sexually in the workplace considered sexual harassment to the adult, But talking about sexuality to children, kindergarten school could consider essentially. So everybody worry about sexual education in the public school. We need to clarify from Mr. John and also President Filado, how you gonna teach the kids? Are you gonna teach sexual education in the public school? I'm gonna give you example. For the state standard, they said oral, vaginal, and I'm sorry to say it, but that's the standard says it. I think if you go to page 38 in the standard, you will find it. Oral, vaginal, anal, sex, and also masturbation as well. What is this things has to do with education? This essentially should be like up to the parents only in the kitchen, between parents and the kids. They educate the kids whatever time they feel it is right. So it's meaning you want to take all the parents' right to put it into the public school. And this you want to do as a board of education to the community, and they trust you, and they both trust in you because they elected you guys. So we need to clarify what you're gonna do, Mr. John, with this.
He's talking about our curriculum for health?
No,
you-
sexual education.
Yes,
Health is different.
that is our health
Health,
curriculum.
we know we can opt out.
That's the question, I'd like to answer that. The standards were approved by the New Jersey State Board of Education, June 3rd, 2020. We've been working with the board that was elected by the community for years on these standards. It's not a sexual education curriculum.
It
It's
is.
a physical education curriculum. It's a physical education curriculum. Some of the topics in the phys ed, just so you're clear, and it's not just those terms that you're talking about.
Talk about personal growth and development, emotional health, community health services and support, movement and skills, physical fitness, lifelong fitness, nutrition, personal safety, health conditions, diseases, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, dependency, substance disorder, and treatment. Now, there's 180 days. There will be a conversation about sex, right? But that we do when the students are mature. And that has always been that way. And I've discussed this with the board. It's in 5th grade. If you're not comfortable with that, there is a parent statement of conflict of conscience, which means you could say, I'll read it to you, any child whose parent or guardian presents to the school principal a signed statement that any part of the instruction is health, family life, or sex ed is in conflict with the conscience or severely held moral or religious belief shall be excused from that portion of the course where such instruction is being given, and no penalties as to credit or graduation shall result. We've always let the parents know in 5th grade that we would be having that discussion with your children, and we've always allowed the opt-out clause.
Okay, we know we can opt out, but you think 5th grade is early age because you teach algebra at 8th grade. So you're gonna teach sexual education at 5th grade, just like good age, so the children.
That's where,
Yes.
that's where the standards say 5th grade, and that's where students are starting to experience
But
changes.
we need clarification. We need Mr. John to put, like in public, as a state require, to put like website. When like have any time plan, you have any, because the school rides the corner, maybe next week. Everybody worry about it. Let me tell you, it's not like, all the community, especially Bayonne, like multicultural community. If you wanna agree with this, it's okay, but most of the parents do not agree. There's nothing to do with anything, but nothing to do with how the parents wanna teach the children about whatever they wanna teach, not whatever the public school they wanna teach. It's very hard to the kids to listen to masturbation word. You don't wanna even hear it.
Yes,
You're shy to hear this, but how the kids is gonna listen to this word?
The Assistant Superintendent, Degnan, has said that parents, you as a parent, when your child is in 5th grade, can say, I do not want my child to sit for that class.
Okay.
And your child does not have to sit for that class. He is removed.
This healthy class, we understand.
He's removed.
He's
So
removed.
there
What
wouldn't
about the
be.
other subject, like social study, whatever? Is gonna be teachers there or not?
No, we're talking about health curriculum.
Yeah, health curriculum, correct.
Yes, and it's only taught in the health curriculum.
Okay.
And it's only in 5th grade.
Okay, can Mr. John send like a statement like, to make everybody aware, like other districts did, like long time ago, like Homedale did, County Ocean did, Lara District, did. The parents worry about their kids. I think this is very simple right. That if you don't worry about your own child, what you gonna worry about it?
So you asking us to send a letter?
A letter.
That's it,
statement,
to the parents explaining that?
explain it,
Okay, perfect.
post it online, on Facebook, that's it. Very
Okay.
simple.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We will do that. Thank you. Superintendent? Done? Thank you.
Mr. Woods? Nothing. Okay. Trustees, that's all we have before us. Is there a motion to adjourn? By Vice President Munoz and a second by Trustee Gonzalez. On that motion and second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius? Trustee Egan?
Yes.
Trustee Gadesky Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Scofane?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck?
Yes.
Vice President Munoz? President Bellato?
No.
It is
Thank you.
7:47. President Bellato will stay here. The rest will be leaving.